and I was just sitting in the hospital by myself, and that was my coming to Jesus, or my low point.
And that's the only way, because this is the life and death matter. It's no joke.
Hey everybody, this is Pej. I am here today with a few good men. We are in a sober environment, sober living. It's a place where there's never a dull moment. We always get characters that come in here, people that come from all walks of life, people that have struggled with addiction, they've struggled with alcoholism, they've struggled with some mental health, things like that. But I have the honor and privilege to watch these guys come into a different type of environment than what they were used to and change their lives completely. So today I've handpicked a few guys that have been in my life, and I've been in their life, and I've been watching the miracles grow with each and every one of them. I'm going to ask all of you some questions. I know that you guys are all different people, but at the end of the day, we're all the same, right? Like, we all had some issues that got us in the path. And then we'll talk about the importance of why one would go to sober living after, say, treatment or homelessness or incarceration, why that's of great importance for a person. So first and foremost, I got my friend Kevin right here. Kevin,
Yes.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You're from
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. He's one of those guys from Oklahoma, right? There was a lot of people that came out to treatment from Oklahoma. You were from the reservation, right?
No, I'm from the city.
You're from the city.
Yeah.
But you are an Indian, right?
Yes.
Navajo?
No, it's Cheyenne Arapaho.
Cheyenne, okay. And you are sober how long?
Today will mark 176 days.
And what were you using before you got sober?
Alcohol and meth.
Alcohol and meth. Okay. And how long were you using that?
Then I was 18, and it was like pretty much like 3 years on and off.
Okay. And did you run your life into the ground?
Yes.
And where were you living in the end?
In the end, I was sleeping outside of a park and sleeping in shelters and sometimes under a bridge.
Okay. How did you end up going to treatment in California?
This last time I was staying at my grandpa's for a while, and then I used him for his money. I used him for lied to him, manipulated him, and got to a point where we got an eviction notice because I used him out of his money.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point where we got an eviction notice on the door, and I played like I didn't know. I played the victim and act like I didn't know what was going on or what was happening. And then after a month later, I found myself sleeping outside, going to living in shelters, staying at the parks, and sleeping under bridges. And then it got to the point where I just wanted to, I woke up every day drinking and using a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't use drugs as much, but I drank pretty much every day. Like, I wanted to drink every day. And then this last time, April 30th, I was so tired of it, and like I reached out to my friend. He was out here in California getting treatment, and then I told him my story and what was going on, and he sent me an a rehab link through Facebook or whatever, and then I filled the application out, and then yes, and he told me how he got out here, and pretty much I got out here how he got out here.
And you were scholarshiped into a program?
I believe so, yeah.
You believe so?
Yeah, I believe. I don't know what scholarship is like.
Did you have to have insurance to get in?
Yeah, insurance. Yeah.
Did you have insurance?
A friend of mine, I guess, put me on insurance, and they'll like cover for 3 months.
Okay, so it was like insurance through Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It was like state insurance, right?
Yeah.
But on the open exchange, which got you to come to treatment in California.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the insurance ran out, and that was done, right?
That was done. Yeah.
Okay. But what motivated you to stay sober?
Just desperation, and like I really, like just thinking about like where I come from and like my background, like just going through hard times, and like the drugs and the alcohol was just like the solution to my problems, and just running from it. And
how did you know sober living was going to be the next step for you?
I don't know.
If you hadn't have gone to sober living, what would you have done?
I probably would have went back home to Oklahoma.
Where, on the streets or to stay with somebody?
Probably back on the streets.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and pass it to Ryan. Ryan. Okay, so Ryan, I've known you for over a year now.
Yes, sir.
You have 1 year sober,
Yep.
a year and like a month or two?
A year and 16 days.
A year and 16 days. You just took a year.
Yes.
Amazing. Time flies.
It does.
You were originally from Utah?
Yes, sir.
You were a homeless man in Utah?
Yeah.
In that cold weather?
Yeah.
How many years were you homeless in Utah?
Let's see, I've been out here for 5. So since 2013, I was homeless in Utah after my dad passed.
Okay. And then you ended up coming out here to California, living on the streets of Los Angeles
Yes.
in the valley.
Yes.
How would you bathe?
I would go to the gas stations and the air compressors have a water thing.
Yeah.
And so I would ask the gas attendant if I could use the water hose.
Mhm.
I'll wash my hair, strip down to my boxers, wash everything I needed to, put a towel, take off my boxers, put new ones on. I would wash my clothes that way too.
What kind of drugs were you using over the how long were you homeless?
Going on and off about 8 to 9 years.
Okay. And then what were you using in that amount of time? Drug-wise?
Heroin, meth, smoke crack, fentanyl. I never did like psychedelics or anything like that. Just
How many overdoses did you experience?
5.
And that was mostly from fentanyl?
Heroin and fentanyl, yeah.
What brought you to sober living?
I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, but what was your crisis moment? What had happened?
I just got off an overdose
From?
from fentanyl. The homeless people I was hanging out with, they Narcan me twice, and I woke up to CMTs giving me like chest compressions and mouth to mouth, and they're like, "You got to come with me because Narcan wears off," and I didn't know that. So when I got to the hospital, I overdosed again, and they shot me twice more with Narcan, and I was just sitting in the hospital by myself, and that was my coming to Jesus or my low point.
Yeah.
And so I got out. I went to Target. I called my mom. I was like, "Can you send me some money to get a phone?" Called my aunt. My aunt was like, "If you're serious about this, then you need to come to me." So I took 2 buses, the subway to North Hollywood. Then I took the train out here to Irvine, and she picked me up, and that was the day I got sober.
And you stayed sober ever since.
Yeah.
And you've had some ups and downs in your recovery, but nothing that was so serious that it would take you out.
No, I've had my ups and downs in the house. Like, I'm working on things, and that's the due process, right? And
Yeah. There's a lot of important things, and I'll go over that in a second, like that I've seen that stand out. But so a year and 16 days sober,
Yes, sir.
living the best life that you've ever had.
Yeah, a lot. Like, I couldn't dream. Like, a year ago from today is a 180. It's a blessing.
And your mother is in your life again, your aunt's in your life.
Yeah, the family's happy, everybody.
Love it. Okay. This is my boy, Puya. Puya's Persian like me. How old are you?
32. I'm about to be 33 next month.
Okay. And what was your DOC?
Heroin, meth, pills.
Okay. When did you first start using?
I got on pills when I was 20, 19, 20.
What kind of pills? Like painkillers?
I started on Norcos, went up to blues, 30 milligram, oxys, and then heroin, meth, went up the ladder.
Okay. And you were a successful man at like 18, right?
19.
19. You were working in the loan world, killing it?
Yeah.
Would you say that you got up to millionaire status at some point?
Yeah.
You lived like the extravagant lifestyle, right?
Right. Correct.
You had the nice cars, nice places, nice clothes,
Everything.
like a good Persian boy would.
Exactly.
Okay, so in the end, I know I talked to you on the phone last year. You wanted nothing to do with me.
Right.
In a nice way, you dismissed me.
Correct.
But then somehow we ended up in each other's lives again. Both you and your brother got sober at the same time.
Right.
Both of you went to detox. What made you go to sober living and want to stay?
I had to change my environment, and I had to just have some sober friends, you know what I mean? And change my whole environment. Because like I was done, like me and my brother, we both were like done with drugs. Like we got to that point. Like we've done it all. Like enough is enough, you know. But we had to change our environment.
I mean, it's
So,
pretty monumental for two brothers to get sober together using the same drug of choice, pretty much in the end.
right.
I mean, it was heroin, right?
Right.
And let's just be straight here. Like, there's not a lot of heroin out there, so some of these people still had some abilities, at least in their own right. But as far as you guys getting sober together, you both have stayed sober to this point. How long are you sober now?
4.5 months.
Okay. And you have regained the trust of your family?
Yes,
You and your mom have a good relationship?
we always had, but yeah,
Better than
like,
ever.
It's a lot. Yeah, of course.
She sees that her kids aren't dying.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
She's happier than ever.
okay, she's
Yeah,
happier
I
than
can say
ever. And how do you feel about your recovery process?
Great. I mean, again, like I was done with drugs, so like I kind of knew the path, and like now I'm like just going up the ladder.
Even though on day one that you came here, by day two you wanted to leave, but you stayed.
Right. Like I have my moments, you know, but it was. I think it's like it's normal because like when you get sober, like you know, all your chemicals and like all that, you know, it's not balanced, so it's all normal.
Hmm.
You know, your mind will like play with you a little. But
You comfortable in your skin these days?
Of course.
You love your life?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm loving the sober life, you know.
That's
but-
what I mean. That's the
Exactly.
only life that matters.
Exactly.
Okay, very well. Next. This is my friend, Brian. Brian, where are you from?
I'm from a town right outside of Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 45.
How long are you sober?
75 days.
All right. Throughout your life, you struggled with what substances in the past?
Alcohol, cocaine, crack, Adderall, psychedelics, marijuana.
So you were always seeking some kind of escape.
Yes, sir.
All right. More recently, when I first met you and was introduced to you, was probably in the last 6 months. What was your DOC drug of choice at this point? in life?
Nitrous oxide.
What's the psychology behind that? All those other drugs that you were doing, why that one?
It came down for me to, in Michigan, it was legal. So there wasn't a whole lot of remorse. It was obviously one addiction replacing another. It's a very quick euphoric high to where it didn't seem as bad as the others. But
Okay.
It definitely got away from me.
And then you attempted to go to treatment a bunch of times this year.
Yes, sir.
And every time that you went to treatment, you'd end up going back to Michigan and getting high again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, what do you think that was about?
Surrendering. If I had to honestly say, like, I wanted to control the show. I wanted to continue to be the master of everything, and I had to give up control and take direction.
And you weren't fully surrendered then.
I don't even know if I knew what surrender was. I thought I knew, but until I fully hit the rock bottom, I definitely didn't even realize what surrender was.
So you did hit a rock bottom.
Yes, sir.
And this time, what's different this time?
I had the ability and the gracefulness of God to work all 12 steps and fully understand that my mentality at the beginning of the steps is completely different at the end of the steps. So to have the spiritual awakening that's talked about in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous has really shown the light to me personally.
So when you go back, you'll be safe and protected
Yes, sir.
because you're going to stay connected.
Yes, sir.
Love it. Love it. Love it. You're very special to me. I've seen complete
Thank you, sir.
transformation. All of you are special to me. For a guy that I saw months ago wanting to go back, I thought, I don't think this guy's going to stay sober. And sure enough, when we found out that you didn't, because you stayed in touch a little bit, but they were like little hit or miss
Right.
texts, but they weren't like, hey, dude, this is what I'm doing for my recovery. And then
Yes,
it
sir.
kind of just drifted. I thought, well, it's usually how it goes. But I'm so happy that you decided to come
I
back.
look at it like I didn't quit quitting.
Right, you didn't quit
Right.
quitting.
Right.
Right. Okay, very good. Next
you, sir.
person. This is my boy Cash.
Hello.
Cash I've known for a lot of years. I used to actually run in the same circles as Cash when I wasn't sober. Cash and I probably got high together and don't remember it, but we definitely know all the same people, so we were in the same places. Cash and I also were in the same rehab when I
right.
first got sober 16 plus years ago. Cash was there. He came right around the same time as me. He didn't stay long. And he's had a lot of ups and downs and struggled. Right, Cash?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Cash tried to come. I started seeing you again in the
Yeah.
last, I'd say 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
We would see you would attempt to go to recovery meetings. We'd seen each other in recovery circles, but you weren't staying sober.
That's right.
You would say you're staying sober. You would appear like you want to be sober, but you weren't really serious about sobriety. And a few times that we tried to help you, you ended up going to rehab because you were scholarshiped. You happen to know somebody that owned a rehab,
Yeah.
and they put you through detox, and then they put you through treatment. But even then, you didn't stay sober, and finally, it got to the point where you decided to change your life completely.
Yeah.
Am I?
Well, I really wanted to all the times. I really wanted to. I was tired of it.
Yeah.
But it's just the disease is so hard. So I guess I really got tired of it. I got tired of the lifestyle. I didn't want to see my mom hurt anymore. I didn't want to hurt the people around me. And it just wasn't me because, ever since I was young, I always had a different outlook. I know my principles and morals were different. And I saw that I'm changing, so I didn't want that. I didn't want to be that person,
So how long you been sober now?
I've been sober for 69 days.
69 days.
Yes, sir.
And your drugs of choices was
It was meth and heroin,
method heroin.
but I smoked pot and other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ever overdose?
Yes.
Were
Yeah.
you shooting it?
No, never.
Smoker?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind talking about who you lost in your life that was important to you?
Yeah. I lost my brother to addiction 4 years ago. He was a great guy, but he had moved back to Iran and he just couldn't handle it, and he was drinking a lot, and actually alcohol killed him. So when I go to his meetings and people say, "Oh, addict," but alcohol is actually a very strong drug, and it's no joke. Yeah, I had my problems with alcohol too, and did some time in jail, and but that's behind me.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I lost my brother to the disease, and he was my best friend.
Do you truly love your life now?
I do.
What do you love about your life?
It's just that when I put my head down at night, I'm safe. I get up in the morning, I'm sober, and more than anything else, I don't have to lie. I don't have to lie to my mom. I don't have to lie to anybody. I'm.
Your mom's in the old country, right?
Yeah,
She's in Iran.
Oh yeah. She's in
So
Iran.
how do you talk to her? On WhatsApp?
Yeah, every day, man. I know. I
And
call her every.
How do you think it makes your mom feel
Oh,
to be way over there, so many miles away, to know that her son is safe and protected and sober now?
she feels great, man. It's like so it just brings tears to my eyes.
It's okay.
But, yeah, but
I like it when a man gets to feel his feels.
But for so long do I hurt her so bad, and it's like now, like back in the day, I used to like avoid her calls and stuff, but now I'm the one calling her. So it's awesome, and I'm so blessed. And I just want to thank you, Paige. I want to thank you, man, because you were always straight up. I expected more, like, oh, he's a friend, and I should get a special treatment. Never, though. You were straight up, and you take this program very seriously, and God bless you, man. And that's the only way, because this is the life and death matter. It's no joke. So now I totally understand. And, back in the day, I had some resentment towards you. Oh, this guy is this and that. But now I totally understand. And I love you, even though you say I'm mad dog all the time. But I love you.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Next
Thank
person.
you.
Thank you. This is my friend, Marcus.
What's up, Pez?
He likes to sometimes go by the name Flash. I met Marcus probably about a year and a half ago. Maybe a year and a half ago. Marcus had a lot of issues with certain people. He was living a certain type of lifestyle. Marcus had a very good insurance policy, which was taking him from treatment center to treatment center. You were treatment hopping, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
You were going to weed-friendly treatment places too, right?
Yeah.
You knew deep down inside exactly what you were doing, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Then there was one time that somebody was offering you money to go to treatment too,
Yep.
right? And that I got in front of that one time and talked to the person. Not that it stopped you, like you still were able to go to the center, right?
Yeah.
But I told your dad to yank your policy. I said he doesn't need to have insurance because he'll never get better. That insurance policy is like a platinum card for him to go and wreak havoc in every treatment center that he goes to, and then he just gets kicked out and goes to the next place or goes and gets loaded.
Right.
I interacted with you last year. I tried to help you. You seemed like you wanted to do well, but you knew like you had a lot of demons in your closet, right?
Yeah.
So you weren't really serious. You have mental health too,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, right? And also some addiction and some alcoholism, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So once your dad yanked the policy, do you believe that it brought you to a quicker surrender?
Yeah, because like once I had nowhere else to run, I didn't have that platinum card. You know, it was just a way to go wherever I want. I get one feeling of like, oh, I don't like this, and I just run off to the next, and it gave me that endless revolving door. So when I didn't have that option, and I had to sit with some feelings and like either choose to like sit with them or completely just go out to the streets, which I've been to, I didn't want to go back to. It led to that surrender a lot quicker.
So you kind of had to take a back to basics approach to recovery where I think it works best when you don't have a whole lot of things that are going to kind of enable you to be able to get in this process. How long are you sober now?
I have 149 days today.
And in the time of 149 days, you did have some mental health stuff that came up for you where they had to put you somewhere to stabilize you, correct?
Yeah, 90 days sober, I had kind of a complete mental breakdown. I went catatonic. I wasn't dealing with stuff. I wasn't working the steps. I had no solution. I was just kind of white knuckling it. So yeah.
Your peers thought that you were loaded
Yeah.
because you were acting like it.
Yeah.
You were saying things that were just outlandish, like
Yeah.
way up. So, but it's cool that you got in front of that. Held on to your sobriety. I remember when you did call me, our conversation, the way that you talked to me, I was pretty convinced like you didn't actually relapse. You know, I would have thought like had it been anybody else and I didn't know you, but because I know you, I really feel like you've held on to your sobriety quite well. And that's a huge miracle for a guy like you that couldn't keep his hand off a tall boy or a hit off of somebody's joint or blunt or weed or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So right now, how does it feel to actually be in real recovery?
It feels like a serenity, a peace to it. Even when things are going, you know, up and down, it's like I have that like stability to know that I can give it up to my higher power, and it's feeling good.
Okay, so I want to first off thank all of you. We're gonna make another video in a second. I'm saying it on this one right here. One where we actually like shoot the shit and talk normally the way we are when we're not talking about ourselves. Because this is what I see. Every single person in this room is a complete miracle, right? One of them's not doing nitrous anymore. One of them's not doing heroin anymore. One of them's not taking bird baths at the gas station anymore, or overdosing and going to the hospital for fentanyl. One of them's not tweaking anymore, not doing alcohol anymore. One of them is actually living and got to keep his life, and one of them is not treatment popping and doing all the dumb shit that came along with it, right? These are my true friends. These are my genuine friends. I think about these guys every single day and how they're doing. I love them. I love them all. They're complete miracles. These are people that, you know, in a sense, like I had a friend that used to always say, I'm a dead man walking. We're dead men walking. Truth of the matter is we're dead men walking. If there could have been that one moment and that one time that we did one hit that happened to have something in it that could totally take us out of the game. So it's an honor and a privilege to have you guys in my life. I'm very blessed that God put you guys in my path. And it's really cool to see how different each one of you is, but how same we actually all are. You know, the fact that you guys have turned it around and have gotten to where you are, I think it's like just a beautiful, remarkable thing. I love all of you guys, and now we will make the next thing.